Duane was a very easygoing guy, friends with everybody, but always involved in service. That was clearly, I think, the most important thing to him of his Ignatius experience.
Duane was really a very, very pleasant, cooperative, student as a freshman. But I always remember his kindness. He was just so kind. I mean, like to everybody. I did see him quite a bit after he graduated, and for years I saw that he was involved in all kinds of different community action projects all through the city of Cleveland.
Work in the neighborhood was always very important to Duane. He has been very closely associated with so many of the outreach efforts that have begun here.
I think the Men for Others really impacted Duane. I think it impacts all of us who go to Ignatius, but it really impacted Duane. I think it really brought that part of his spirit out in him.
I know when he was at Xavier University, I believe after his sophomore year, he moved out of the dormitories and went into some pretty difficult areas to live in Cincinnati. That's, I think, kind of when it all started.
It really was the beginning of my own personal healing and kind of awareness of, what it is that God wants me to do.
He was working as a community outreach person for St. Malachy's, working with adult homeless males right here in the area. He asked me if I had a little extra time after we finished lunch, and so I said sure, and we walked out, and we turned into an alley. There was just a bunch of garbage cans and boxes, and Duane would stop and say, "Hey, Frank." And I'm looking around like, what is he doing? Talking to the walls? And sure enough, someone would poke their head out from inside a cardboard box, and it was Frank. And they knew Duane on a first-name basis. How's it going? How's rehab?
I met Duane at the 2100 Lakeside Men's Shelter. There were things that happened in my life, and I was going through there, and I saw this man, and he was talking about a way of spirituality that was totally foreign to me. Duane revolutionized the way I see the world, and the way I see people, and the way I view God, and the way I view myself. Duane Drotar was responsible for that.
His ability to listen, I think it's really a lost art. He has the capacity to listen attentively, and while he is doing that, the other person is really able to grow through that.
Meeting people where they're at and entering into relationships with them, not so much as to necessarily serve them, but to just be with them, and to do that in a non-judgmental way.
Today he's the executive director of one of the Salvation Army homeless shelters, and the number of people, it's in the hundreds, that they shelter. But if you really think about the motto, Men for Others, and if someone's supposed to get this award who epitomizes that, Duane Drotar is the gold standard of being a man for others.